Greetings, Phi Theta Kappa, Upsilon Delta chapter members. This is video number 2 in our Honors in Action investigation, where I want to share with you some of the online resources that you have free access to because you are a Southwest student. And it's, these resources are very powerful, and once you jump into them, you're just going to find that there is so much information that you're just going to want to include. In video number 1, recall that I gave you a 10,000 foot view of honors in action, how that can, for our chapter, connect with the honors case study challenge, which is where you do your personal contribution. And of course, the honors case study challenge is a requirement for level 5 of competitive edge. So you can earn your 5 stars, your personal 5 stars, by completing competitive edge. When you get to the honors case study challenge, you can write your honors case study challenge on the theme that we are investigating. Again, go back to video number 1 where I talk about the transformations, the main topic, theme 3, politics of identity, and then our focus, which is immigration. Now, part of the requirements of honors in action, as well as the honors case study, is that you're wanting to present different points of view. And sometimes we're so attached to our personal point of view that it's hard to move our mind into the other point of view and consider it. But it's a healthy thing to do because it helps us to understand our own views and to be more well informed. And that's what we want to present in our writing. So today, I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to my web browser. I previously showed you in video number 1 that you can go to the library website simply by typing /library at the end of the college's main page, www.southwest.tn.edu, and there are links that you can find. You may want to bookmark that on your computer. Now, there are many library resources to access, especially asking for help if you are struggling with something. Last time we went into databases, I talked to you about that. Click that again, databases. You see all these wonderful databases to explore. This time we're going to current events. In video number 1, we went into newspapers. Now, look at this. America's News is a great thing to research. I did not show you that in video 1, but again, you can research, you can investigate a big collection of newspapers through one website, which is America's News. So check that out. I encourage you to do that. Here are the 3 that we're going to talk about today: issues and controversies, opposing viewpoints and context, and points of view. And you really could stop the video right here and just click on those links and start investigating and exploring. That's how you're going to get comfortable with these tools. I'm starting with I clicked it, with issues and controversies. Now, this time I'm off campus, so I am required to log in with my Southwest username and password. And so I'm going to pause here for just a moment while I do that. Notice I just have to put my username, and so that's what you would. So I've typed my password, and now it's taking me into issues and controversies. And this is current events. Oops. Never. This is current events, and so you may want to look around. There may be something that is currently in the news that you want to research. They do have categories, and look at this. There's even more things that we can expand. Global issues, foreign, economics. I'm just giving you a big picture here, because these may inspire you to investigate. Immigration, as we mentioned in video 1, is a very big topic, and this may spark some interest in what specific aspect of immigration you may want to investigate. So you see that. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to type immigration. Now, oh, look at that. See, it's giving me Law and terrorism, that's very important to people. Some of the executive actions. What about sanctuary cities, sanctuary states? Is this about people seeking asylum? Is this about H-1B visas? Is this, illegal immigration? Does this have an effect on the economic aspects of that? There are a lot of things that you can investigate. So I'm going to say immigration and economics. Typed that in. And as I look through here, and look at this, pro-con article on immigration policy. Do stringent immigration policies, in other words, strict policies, benefit the United States? That is a recent one. If you're working on your honors case study, remember that those dates have to be between January 1st of this year and November. So May 3rd certainly fits into that. Now this one is 2004. It could, depending on the strength of the article, be used in the honors case, honors and action, case investigation. But unless it's a seminal or a cardinal work, we want to be careful about things that are starting to get a little dated. So you want to look at that. But I'm just going to scroll through here. Look at this, another pro-con article. Now this is 2016, that's true, but it's talking about key aspects of the presidential race, which we know only happens every 4 years. So in some ways it's a little more current because it's influencing our current thought, and so it could be put in that context, right? Okay, so again, you're starting to see, and look at all these pro-con opportunities. Well, let's go back up to this first one, and let's, in fact, look at this. I can filter that so that I'm only seeing that if I'm trying to get those different points of view. I can save it to a folder as I keep capturing different articles. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, and the more articles you look at, you start to focus. So you may want to save those into a folder. All right, and it's highlighted because that's what I searched based on. And look at this, supporters argue, and it tells me. Opponents argue, right? Isn't that great? And so you can start to go through here and talk about both sides. And this is a very, very rich resource, a rich article that is giving you tons of information that you can include in your honors case study paper, and in it will help, it will build your knowledge towards our honors in action research, investigation, and project ultimately. Okay, here's attempts. Look at the depth of information here. There's been a lot of discussion about the dreamers. That might be something that you want to write about. I mean, these are just different aspects, things for you to consider. So did you see how easy this tool was to use? Hopefully that's really what I want you to get out of this. I do want to go down. You do want to make sure that you are noting the sources here. Let's see if that's at the bottom of this. Keywords. Look at this. How beautiful is this? Now, notice it says MLA, and also it offers Chicago Manual of Style. These are two different citation types. Phi Theta Kappa prefers APA format. All right, so while it's not exact, I would encourage you to go ahead and copy this information anyway, because it's going to have the relevant information. There may be formatting differences, the order of the information may be different. There are a lot of tools out there that can help you. There's even a link here, how to cite. I can click on that. And so you can even get some extra information about how to cite. And look, there's APA, and it's telling you the style. So lots of resource, very, very rich resource, and we've only looked at the one, right? So how did we get into that? Well, let me go back. Searching was easy. We went into issues and controversy. We started from the databases tab on the library page, current events, issues and controversies. So now let's look at opposing viewpoints in context. Now, sometimes it may ask you to enter your Southwest username and password again. Sometimes it remembers it. And sometimes you'll look in the status bar and you may see some red icon, a red exclamation point, a red X, or something that tells you the website is blocked. If that is the case, then if you click on it, you'll typically have an option to clear it. If you just are finding that you can't access that resource from off campus, I would encourage you, notice on the library's main page, let me go back here very quickly, you can ask for help. You may, whatever's going on here, you may remember that. And our librarians are very good at assisting you online. You'll probably, if they are currently online, you can chat with them. And look, see, and it says we're online now. Click to chat. So you'll be able to get help very quickly. So, take advantage of that as you're trying to work on your papers. Okay, so here's some featured issues. Those are, like I say, we're researching this year a very current event, so there should be a lot of literature on it. We might find something in our, featured articles. I think one of our leaders talked about education and how that may be impacted by immigration, or perhaps it was issues surrounding immigrants in our classrooms. There's been a lot of discussion in some of the academic articles about how do we make our international students feel more comfortable on campus and in the classroom. So these may be aspects of immigration that you want to talk about. Look at this. Right? We found one. Let's click on this because if it's updated, there might be something brand new that we want to include. So they're talking to us about what immigration is. Look at this. I'm not going to read all of this for you, but you understand. Look at this, featured viewpoints. We want to make sure we use scholarly resources. So here's some academic journals. Viewpoints, primary sources. I'm sorry, I'm going to click on read more just so that we can see. Oops, no thanks there, go away. And this is full text, and look at that, I can even listen to it. Isn't that great? Citation tools up here. I'm sorry, I started to scroll away, but citation tools. And this time we do have APA format. And once you see it one time, it would probably be easy to copy that for your other articles. So that was under citation tools. And this is in the full text article. So I'm going to go back because you're seeing, and especially this was something that's relevant. You can send this to OneDrive. Now, all Southwest students have free OneDrive accounts. You may or may not be aware of that, and so that'd be an excellent place to save it. You can email it to yourself, print, of course, download it to save it for later. I like to do that. You might share it with one of the other members of the leadership team. Okay. I'm going to go back again because we did find this link as we scanned the main page when we came into this opposing viewpoints. So what if instead I click, I'm curious about that, search assist, no, we want that on. I search and I type immigration and economics. I was going to say impact. Look at this. Security, economic opportunities, border security, economic opportunities, business administration and economics. No, I like what I had. What happened here? Okay, we don't want to, let me, okay. Immigration and the economic impact. Let's see how we do with that. Now, look at our search results, how nicely they're grouped. Academic journals would be a good place to explore for scholarly references, and we're going to need those, right? Sometimes, these may, it depends on the exact article here, where it's coming from, but this might be something that informs us and leads us to another reference that may be good. And so then here are some other references, things that we can look at this, even videos, and you can cite videos, absolutely, and audios. Sometimes you'll find, All Things Considered is a National Public Radio program. Now you do want to be careful of dates, Make sure things stay current. Here's a 2017 with the DACA. That's been a big issue. Brain drain, that's a big thing with economic impact. Brain drain describes when people from one country with a lot of knowledge leave to go to another country because of opportunity or money or things. And look at this, the economic impact of immigrants. Recent research and anecdotal evidence indicate that immigrants are having a positive effect on the American economy. Now this is a 2000 article, so we might be getting a little dated there. We want to stay more with the current articles. So let's go up, how about to one of our academic journals here. Globalization, that's 2014. Well, actually, these are getting a little dated, aren't they? How about we go to one of the Viewpoints. The U.S. Guest Worker Visa Program needs to be expanded. Okay, well, let's look at this because, you know, there is a lot of assumption that immigrants are taking our jobs, and so maybe this is opposing viewpoints that would help us understand, is that true? Are we making an assumption? Can we investigate that? Can we get support for that statement? Can we find direct rebuttals to that statement? And, you know, of course, part of what you have to do, I haven't mentioned this yet, is you have to develop a research question. And that question you should be able to say from memory, and it should be very succinct. What are you trying to find out? What are you trying to understand? So here are some questions to consider that may inspire you in terms of your personal research question. So here's a question. What are 4 myths about high-skilled immigrants and foreign nationals according to this author? Now, that's not the research question, but you may want to look at those 4 myths and pick one myth and explore whether or not that myth is true. And why do people believe that myth? So, you know, you can see there's a lot of detail in there. Threat to security. If the best talent in the world cannot get into the United States, we face a true threat to our economic and national security. So that's a very fact-based statement that may support an opinion or may disagree with an opinion that you have. So here's myth 1. Foreign nationals steal American jobs. Well, here's the data. In 2009, the private sector unemployment rate was 9.3%, but the rate for computer and mathematical operations was just 5.4%, electrical engineers 6.9%. So you're starting to get the data to support or, you know, to either discredit or support a myth, right? So you can start to investigate this and get additional sources. Myth 2, and you see that foreign nationals are paid less. Myth 3, H-1B visas must stay with an employer. So, you know, you see how you're already learning just from this one article. So again, how did we get to that article? Well, let me go back. Library, we clicked on databases, current events. First, we looked at issues and controversy. Most recently, we looked at opposing viewpoints. When we click the link, we're asked to enter our Southwest username and password, and then we can search for the topic to find these opposing viewpoints and you know, very rich academic scholarly resources, or at least a beginning into that. Now let's look at points of view. It remembers that I've previously logged in because I am off campus right now. Okay, and again, just like last time, it pays to look through. Maybe there's something new and exciting, or new exciting as a current event, something about immigration that would lead us to an area of investigation. Of course, this changes, so you may want to look at things, and of course, there's a lot more. Right. You know, as we look under race and culture here, remember we have been talking about the different types of immigration, and one type of immigration that I think as a predominantly black institution that we may want to address is forced immigration, and the viewpoint from that. right? So we want to bring all these things together because they're all pieces of the puzzle, and so they all inform us, they build awareness, they educate us, and that's what we want to do. Now, as we've done before, I could of course type immigration up here. Perhaps we should look at the advanced search options. As we look through this, Boolean, if you're not familiar with that, that means, for example, I could type something like immigration, and I would use the ampersand and economics, and that would indicate, that ampersand would indicate that unless it has both of those words, I don't want to see it, right? So in other words, if it found just a article about the economy or economics, I would not be interested in that unless it also had immigration. So that's a really powerful search. You can do things, find all of my search terms, find any of my search terms, right? So lots of things to explore here, related words. I like to check the full text box. Otherwise, you sometimes run into an article that you just think is going to be the greatest article in the world, and you can only get the summary of it, and it gets a little frustrating at times. Different types, look at this, academic journals. This will keep you on the path to scholarly sources. Again, document types, different articles. Maybe you do just want the abstract, you're trying to find a book, something. I'm just scrolling here so you can see. Okay, if you know, this is if you know. Maybe you want a PDF, you want to be able to save it or something like that. But I think I'm good with, I want academic journals, and I am going to do this, I'm going to say immigration and economics. Now, I would, okay. Now, we only have, oh goodness, only 3 results, and this is looking a little dated here. So I might want to revise my search. I do want current things. Notice down here, it's telling me my articles are between 2006 and 2016, and if I feel that's too old, I can move this to more recent. Now, I don't have a whole lot of data to show here. Oh goodness, okay. Limited it down so that there's only one article that fits that description, that requirement, so I can start to investigate this. And again, print, cite, powerful citations, right? So I can find, there's APA format, so that I can start to look through that. Perhaps we need to widen our search. Maybe we say, how about the business of economics. Let's try that. Comments and discussion. Well, that might give us some opposing viewpoints. Policy-induced expansion, goodness, economic growth. Now see, this time I didn't use my Boolean search, and so I'm getting things about, well, it does talk about the EU. Okay, so, you know, I might have to work on that a little bit. How about, what did I put? The business of immigration. Okay, no results found on that. Immigration and small business. Open for business. Okay, so 2017, 2016, I'm looking at some dates to see what my choices are going to be here. Immigration, small business, and jobs. Ah, look at that. This might be an interesting article here. It is 2010, but it talks about what they think is going to make it effective. Okay, here's an opposing viewpoint. Immigration harms minorities. So this might be something to investigate. Looks like, what is the year is 96 here. That's really getting a little normalization of immigration law. So, okay. And notice even full PDF here. That's interesting. So we're, you know, I'm not a librarian, obviously, but I'm hoping that if I'm comfortable just jumping into these tools and finding and you know, in sharing that with you, that you will be too, and that you can see that these resources really are easy to use. It's just knowing what's out there. And so hopefully this video helps you with that. I realize I'm video getting a little long, but I do think these are great resources. Once you start to explore them, you may very well have questions. How can I do this within this? That is a great question that you could ask a librarian, and they will be, you know, excited to share that information. Notice that they also have a YouTube channel, and there are existing videos on many resources that you may find, and they're out there on Facebook, and and Twitter. Look at that. I encourage you to connect to them, because we have librarians who will post great videos, and I have used them. They have helped me on a number of issues, and so I encourage you to you know, connect with them on all these different levels, because you know, it's just going to make your life easier. All right, so I hope that helps. I know that I've gotten a little bit long here. In fact, I see I'm at 25 minutes, and I do apologize for that, but thank you, and I hope this is helpful, and we'll be talking to you soon.